Hi, Rob. You're from Cawama,
I
Vancouver.
am Rob from Cawama, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Vancouver, British Columbia. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for the invitation, Ray. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. The focus of this channel is obviously surf music, which
hmm
is heavily influenced in your music. Why don't you tell me a little about Kawama and how surf music has influenced your life and your music?
Yeah, sure. We started like 10 years ago, me and my brother. My brother plays drums. At the time, he was playing bass, actually. And we were just jamming on those practice rooms that everyone has. Tiny thing full of amps and crowded with probably three more bands. And we just started. I was born in Mexico, moved like probably 20 years ago to Vancouver, close to 20 years now. So we always have music as a main hobby, my brother and I. So we started just jamming, and years went by, and then we just had these solid riffs that are like very surfy bass sound. We have like probably three. Then we start putting like a song together, right? Like we just start jamming and sound good. Okay, so keep going. Put the chorus, put the verse, whatever, and then suddenly it starts sounding like a full song, like a band. And we just decide to keep going that way. Just put all the reverb on and then just get it as loud as possible. At the time, it was just like my brother and myself, like one guitar, one drummer, and that was it. And he started playing bass. He moved to his drums. He's a really good drummer, so he moved to the drums, and we just got a and another guitar player. At the time, we were on I don't know how's in Pennsylvania, but Craigslist had a big community for
Yeah.
musicians. Is that the same? Yeah. So yeah, back in the day, I don't know how it's now, but back in the day, so we just went on Craigslist and put an ad for, if you play guitar, you like surf, you like garage, just come and join us. And lo have a killer, like a great guy joining the band, and suddenly we just glue everything together. And those three songs became like probably six. And we went from there to start just playing local shows and just connecting with more bands. Uh, I think we all were very committed to play surf rock. However, we were like, bringing some other kind of stuff from whether it was garage kind of thing or rockabilly or a little bit of a punk, like old school punk. In my case, I really like the Ramones. So trying to incorporate all these kind of little bits and pieces from different kind of genre and like just put everything together and then just Cawama show up 10 years ago.
Awesome, awesome. Now, when I went to your link tree
Mhm.
off of Instagram, I saw there was, you had singles, you had some stuff on um, Apple Music,
Yeah.
which was cool. And the first thing that popped up, I went to listen to it, and it was um, kind of Middle Eastern sounding. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, there's another band like somewhere off in another part of the world with the same name. Probably means something completely different.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. So
That's hilarious.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like. I mean, it sounded like authentic, traditional Middle Eastern music, like Arabic.
Wow.
Yeah,
With the same name. Could be. Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty cool. So, for those who don't know what Kawama is, could you explain that?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, more traditional. If you go back to Mexico, specifically in Mexico City, where I was born, my brother as well. Uh, Guama, the big, the 40-ounce beer,
Yeah, yeah.
the growlers, the big growl. That's how we call it back there, Cawama. So that's a Cawama,
Oh, okay.
basically. Uh, More traditional. Uh, the proper term for Cawama is a sea turtle, which is like the kind of dinosaur looking thing,
Oh,
you
okay.
know. So that based on that size, they call Cawamas the big ass beer,
Oh, I got it.
coming from the top. But definitely, if you say Cawama in Mexico, everyone will first thing it comes is a beer. It's a growler.
Okay. Cerveza.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Do you know who Jesse Ventura is?
Jesse Ventura sounds familiar.
Oh, well, he was a WWF wrestler, and then he was the governor of Minnesota.
Oh yeah,
He's like very opinionated um,
sounds like very opinionated.
political figure, but he doesn't like living in America. Like he comes back to America to visit, but he lives in Mexico now, and he loves like just raising his beer and saying
The
cerveza.
cerveza.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
everybody.
Yeah, well, that's funny because at the time when we first started, like we started like brainstorms, like how to call the band. So any idea that just came to my mind, it was already taken, right? So it was like anything related to the beach, kind
Yeah.
of getting a surf band name. Everything was already taken, and well, just one day it's like, well, when I'm going to the beach, what really makes me happy? And it's like, oh, there you go, beer, right? So Kawam it is. So just kind of funneled that, and yeah, the name came up. It's like, yeah, let's call it Kawama. It was kind of hard at the beginning because people here in Canada, they when they read it, they don't know how exactly it gets pronounced or like what it means. People say it's probably more Hawaiian kind of terms.
Oh, okay.
As you as you mentioned, there's a band in the Middle East, and I have run into some other even hip hop bands.
Oh, really?
And yeah. There's a couple of bands, not very famous. I know that we are as well, but yeah, the name Kawama is probably in two or three more bands in well, around the world, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So, what I'm interested in knowing is, um, how is I know Vancouver in British Columbia are very very large. It's a very large province, right?
It could be, yeah.
Like a friend of mine, Jason from the Surf Hermits, lives there, and Rod King from the Angry Red Planet, two surfy bands, and I'm like, now there's you, and I'm like, what is it about British Columbia that is attracting so much I don't know, surf influence?
Yeah, actually, when we started, there was not many bands that we play surf with because it was not very popular. So we took that as advantage because we were like one of a kind of band. There were a couple of bands that would play similar, but not specifically kind of surf based. Um, we literally were like probably two or three bands in town, and I think we just live by the water. It's a beautiful beach around here. All Vancouver is full of beautiful beaches. So I think that brings a lot of vibe, in my opinion. I would say that gets inspired to, just get that kind of surf, like West Coast surf kind of
Yeah.
vibe. And right now there's like way more surf bands. And there's probably like, I don't know, there are maybe six or seven solid bands in town that play that hardcore instrumental surf. Um, and yeah, they sounded great. They sound great. So now we have more people to play with, and we can grow a community, and uh, and it's great because the back in the day the local bands were playing all the time in the same bars, same bands. So there was not many variation, right? There were not
Yeah.
many bands. So you go to a bar and you see, the same band that plays like probably every weekend and stuff, and
Yeah.
it just gets back to the same. But now it's way more open, and I think Vancouver has been growing lots in the last probably 10 years. There was a boom here in the city, so move in with a lot of new ideas, and definitely the live music has been one of those.
What do you mean a boom in the city?
The city is getting developed since we had the Olympics back in, what was that, 2010,
Yeah.
and since then, like, I think like a lot of people put their eyes on Vancouver. So what used to be like a, 11, now there's a huge tower with like a lot of uh, uh, the apartments and towers
Wow.
everywhere. So the whole city is getting developed. Old houses are just getting teared down and built new buildings one after another. And a lot of people has been moving to the city actually. So it's getting that kind of bigger city vibe. Uh, so it's definitely growing, and yeah, as I mentioned, live music has been one of those. We see way more bands now, and it's great because it's more entertaining. You can go to different bars, different venues, and now you have a lot of different uh, bands playing instead of listening to the same band over and over again.
What are some of the surf fans out of the 6 or 7 that you were talking about? Can you name some of them?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a gig coming up with Chopper and the Saucerman. It's an old school band that has been in Vancouver forever, and they are great. And they are surf-based band, like hardcore surf instrumental, and they are like top-notch musicians. They are great. There is another guy called the Reviver Errors, if I'm not mistaken, if I pronounce correct, then uh, as well. It's instrumental surf,
Mm-hmm.
and they are great. And there are a couple more. They are booming as well. They just recently started, for what I know, probably a couple of years ago, and now we have a little bit more of surf playing in town, which is great. You go to Sunday in a
Yeah.
little bar, and there's like two or three different bands playing instrumental surf. So you just grab a beer, sit, and then just listen to the tunes. Pretty
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, how close is Vancouver to say Seattle?
It's probably 3.5 hours drive
That's not
with no
bad.
traffic. With no traffic. No, it's actually very close.
Is it tough to get gigs down there or vice versa?
I guess the main thing is depends what kind of gig are you playing. In case it's really big, I think as Canadian you need to have a work permit to play in the States.
Uh,
So that's such a kind of turn-off thing because I mean, uh, you can go and play, but you don't know what kind of scenario you can, have at the border when you're crossing or when you're coming back home. And they ask like, what have you been doing? It's like, oh, I play a gig. Oh, so how much you make? And are you
uh,
reporting that you have a permit to do that? You know, I guess it depends how big the gig is, but who you're playing with. I'm assuming that if you play in a small bar in Seattle, it will not be any problem, or Seattle area, which is kind of
yeah.
fairly big. But yeah, definitely that's always on the table. If you want to go to the States from Canada to play gigs, that's something that you need to look for. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well,
We've been trying actually. There are places. There is one called Bellingham that is just right across the border, have a proper venue there. I have contact them and say like, yeah, you guys are welcome. You just need to figure out what to do with the visa and well, not the visa, kind of. I think you need a work permit if I'm not mistaken. But
Okay.
yeah, just kind of just a little bit of a process to go there.
Awesome, Rob. Is there anything that I missed that you'd like to add that I haven't asked about?
No, no, I think it was great. I think, yeah, I really want to talk about the band and the influences that we have and how we live here, I guess, is because you're in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
That's it.
talk about some of the influences.
Oh, well, for me, I just started listening more into the punk kind of scene when I
Mhm.
was younger, obviously. Uh, Always like the Ramones and Misfits and the old school punk, the Buzzcocks, Vibrators, all that kind of old British punk, probably, the
Yeah,
Pistols, and the American punk, obviously the Ramones. And from there, I guess bands like the Pistols and uh, the Dead Kennedys kind of took
yeah,
me to that kind of surf. You just listen close and you can hear like if you listen some riffs and it's like that's kind of surf. You just have a little bit more overdrive or distortion in your guitar. So just kind of put in the side like all those kind of things like uh, growing older, I just got more into this kind of surf sound. I still love punk music. That's not an issue.
yeah.
But like at the time that we started putting the songs together, I think everyone in the band was very happy with what we were here on the rehearsal place, and it just took us there. Like it was just a no-brainer. We didn't need to change anything. I think the vibe and the beats, the drums were like with those doubles, the classic drum that
Yeah.
it was just right there. So like, man, that sounds great. We just belong there.
It's kind of
But
like
yeah,
a natural, formative type thing.
yeah, it was exactly it exactly just happened like that. It was just what to start with like just jamming a couple of riffs. It just turned to 6 or 7 songs album. So yeah, we luckily we have someone to record our first LP, I will say. And we just got into a very nice studio here in Vancouver. A friend of the band, at the time he was working on these studios, which are like kind of very fancy studios. I think back in the day, Motley Crue and some other bands recorded there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think with Bob Rock, if I'm not mistaken. Can't remember very well the background, but they have Rage Against the Machine, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Aerosmith, bunch of people. I think back in the day, Vancouver was a main city to record.
Oh really?
And yeah, 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 it has a lot of story, like back in the 80s. I think a lot of people was coming up here to record. I don't know, probably the budget was really good coming up here.
Oh okay.
And the studios are beautiful, beautiful. Like uh, man, top notch. We were so lucky to get there. So yeah, a friend of the band said like, well, I work there. I have a couple of days that we can take, and obviously he gave us that kind of such a good deal, and it's like, man, let's go. What are we waiting for?
Did you say the name of the studio?
I think Fader Mountain.
Okay.
That's the name of the studio, and there is one or called Little Mountain, and they both are great studios. I think they still up and running. I think they had a couple of changes there, the ownership, if I'm not
Oh yeah.
mistaken. But they're beautiful. So we were lucky to get in there. We record there, then we just finish it up with in his personal area, personal studio, just overdubs, things like that.
Hmm.
And from there, we have probably uh, 4 or 5 more singles, if I'm not mistaken. I need to go back. I need to go back to my Spotify to check. But yeah, that's how the band started, and yeah, we are turning 10 now. This year has been 10 years since we started the band, 2014, the
Awesome.
first gig ever, and now we are just trying to get the next EP, I will say, 4 or 5 songs together, and then just celebrate these 10 years. We are working on that, so
Nice.
almost there, almost there.
Well, congratulations on 10 years.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate
That's
it. Thank you.
that's I've been in bands, so staying together 4 or 5 years is tough enough.
Oh yeah. No, we actually have a couple of people coming and going, like like three bass players, three drummers. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
during the oh yeah, yeah, no, during these last 10 years has been yeah, people just decide to move on and do some other projects, things like that. We have in COVID as well. We didn't
Oh,
have
yeah. Yeah.
I guess everyone we didn't have much to do. So we just kind of were wondering where to start again, right? After COVID break, it's like, well, we haven't practiced in probably a year together, and where to go? Like everyone was completely off, like no one knew what to do. So luckily, we kind of stick together the main core, and we just keep pushing, right? Like just start pushing back again, practicing, get some gigs, uh, you know, whatever it takes. So we just get going, and now has been 10 years. So yeah, for sure, it's time to celebrate it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Rob, I want to thank you so much for coming on, and I want you, if you get a chance, to check out some other bands on our channel,
Mhm.
and
Absolutely. Yeah.
everybody go check out Rob's band Cawama, and have a great day.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for having me.